Welcome, Flyers fans. You're listening to Chris Mayer, Flyers Fan Mania 93 on YouTube.
All right. Well, let's get this over with. So, Flyers lose 6-3 to the Buffalo Sabres. A little mix-up in lines for this one. Van Riemsdyk going up to the top line. Giroux and Atkinson. Lindblom, Frost and Konechny. Willman, Lawton, Allison, Mayhew, Cates, McEwen. Provorov and Braun, Sanheim and Ristolainen, Yandel and York, and Martin Jones would start this game, and he would get pulled not even out of the first period. So, make it 11 in a row, and out of yesterday, what I kind of talked about with the injuries and all that, there could have been some switches. So Frost moves up to the second line center, like I mentioned that he could have yesterday, and that happens. Van Riemsdyk is the one who goes up to that top line. And Allison slips into the third line spot, and I didn't really have much of a problem with the lines. I personally don't like Van Riemsdyk at the top line. I don't really think he's been that effective lately. I would have rather Lindblom have been there. But overall, it is what it is, and the Flyers didn't just lose this game 6-3. They lost a couple players in it as well, and I'll get to that in a little bit. So early on, Buffalo scores to make it 1-0. Skinner scores in tight, and it was just a bad play all around. It wasn't great positioning from Jones. York lost his stick, and Tuck, who's one of the bigger forwards, he kind of got in there and created some havoc, and Frost lost the puck battle, then ended up leading right to Skinner in front, and it was 1-0 Buffalo pretty early in this one. So as that kind of continues, you have a handful of plays where the Flyers had a couple good shifts, and they created some havoc. They didn't get many shots through the net or anything like that, but they had a good handful of plays. Allison had a chance off a quick shot where he forced a turnover, but that was pretty much it. Then Buffalo would get a power play. Sanheim with a tripping call. It was a very good penalty kill from the Flyers overall. Pretty aggressive. They didn't really give the Sabres much. And then Frost, on the next handful of plays, was very noticeable on a forecheck. A couple plays before that Allison chance, Frost had a nice defensive play to start the Flyers on a breakout. So he started to win some more puck battles. He looked more physically noticeable in plays like that. And Atkinson had a really nice pass over to Sanheim, tried to get that in front of Giroux, but ended up getting deflected away. And the Flyers ended up tying the game. Rasmus Ristolainen would score against his former club. And it was basically a shot from the point, came in, crept low and fired it on the ice, went 5-hole. And then the Flyers would get one right back. Giroux, 2-1. Really nice play by Provorov just to kind of throw it. And Giroux just kind of hid the stick from the defender and tipped that one right over there. And it ended up being a 2-1 Flyers lead. And it seemed like that this game was going to actually go in the Flyers' direction. They might have been able to get out of this with a win. And Buffalo gets power play. Personally, I didn't like that call on McEwen. I really didn't. It was just I felt like it was too much of a ticky-tack call, and it felt like one of those ones where it's kind of just a hockey scrum. You kind of got to let that go. But anyway, it's called, and Buffalo scores. 2-2 Thompson, he just wired on a shot from Tuck in the slot. He ended up fanning on it. It just deflected right to Thompson. And I'm sitting there with my dad, and I knew that was in before he even shot that puck. So then they challenged it for offside, and it was a handful of minutes there where the Flyers, it was, they literally were just sitting down, not playing because of the goal and because of the challenge, that it seemed like that, honestly, that seemed like the turning point of the game where they basically weren't moving, they weren't doing anything, and they weren't necessarily great off the hop either, but they found their game, and then that challenge kind of took them out of rhythm. Then Buffalo gets the power play, then they make it 3-2 off a really bad play all around. I didn't like the space that Ristolainen gave Thompson on that. Also didn't love the way Jones played it. And it's 3-2. Then Buffalo's got a spark. Then it's 4-2. Krebs gets his first NHL goal. Then Carter Hart comes in with 2 minutes left, and you're like, what the hell is going on here? And you get a power play to start the second period to have a chance to actually come back into this game and make it 4-3. But Krebs would come out of the box as he took the penalty 15 seconds into the period and score on a breakaway to make it 5-2 on Carter Hart. And at that point, the game was over. I mean, basically, this game was over at 4-2. And it just seems like when one thing goes wrong, anything can go wrong for them. And it kind of felt like that Tampa Bay game all over again, where once Tampa scored and once Tampa got the 1-0 goal with that game, the Flyers were lifeless. And Atkinson said that the bench last game had no pop, no energy, nothing like that. And it sure felt like this game was too, because, again, when Buffalo goes up 4-2 and the challenge stands to even keep it at 2-2, and then you got to go face their power play again that just scored on you, that's when it felt like the Flyers were out of it and, kind of hang their heads kind of thing. And it's been like that consistently. So the Flyers had a handful of plays, and Allison had a chance off the rush. It was a good play by him, and somebody actually tweeted at me that he was holding his leg after that. Well, I tweeted out that this video here in the second period, and I'll put it up on the screen here, that basically Allison is going up, and it was just a non-contact play. He goes to swing around, and he ends up falling down. So that was his last shift of the game, and I noticed it because when the third period started, Gary Mayhew was on the second unit power play where Allison had played before. In the second, because the Flyers had a handful of power plays in this game, and they had 4 in the second period and did absolutely nothing with them. Konechny hit a post on one of them. The Flyers had a lot of shots to the net, but a majority of them went wide or things like that. And then they get a 4-on-4. McEwen and Skinner go off. Then they get a 4-on-3. Didn't do anything with that either. And then in the third period, they had a shot from Konechny on a power play early that ended up going high. Then Buffalo gets a power play and Skinner scores to make it 6-2. And no Allison. Again, like I mentioned, that was when the Flyers had tweeted out that Allison was out with a lower body injury. And then it was 6-3. Giroux would score to add 1 on the power play, and that was basically it. And also in the third period, Zach McEwen went down with an ankle injury and went to the tunnel. So you lose 6-3, you're 11th in a row, and this is a tweet from Wayne Fish here. The Flyers' impending 11-game winless streak at 0-9-2, just 1 short of team record at 12, which was set in the 1998-99 season. They went 0-8-4 between February 24th and March 16th, 1999. So they're 1 game off from tying the franchise record for most losses in a row. And now you have a 10-game losing streak this year and an 11. So it's been such a wonderful time to watch the Flyers. Really, it's just been great. I don't know about you guys, but this is probably the worst season I've ever watched of this team. And there hasn't been many good ones, but this is easily the worst one. So, yeah. Anyway, couple exciting things for me. Got some new merch rolling. Got a couple t-shirts, hoodies, bunch of stuff, water bottles if you guys are kind of into that thing. And again, I have the shop link, and I'll put that in the description below if you want to check out any of that stuff. A majority of the stuff comes in white, black, and gray if it's the hoodie, the t-shirt, things like that. And there's also some other options as well on there. So again, I wouldn't be able to do that kind of stuff without you watching this video right now. So thank you for that. I really do appreciate it. It means the world to me to kind of put my cartoon face on a piece of clothing. It's pretty cool. But, overall, seriously, thank you guys so much for the support. I really would not be able to be doing this right now without any of you who watch my videos and things like that. And again, thank you to the sponsors, Butt Ends. You can use code PHI for 10% off anything on the site there. Garrett Group Construction for any home improvement needs. If you mention Flyers Fan Mania 93, you can get 10% off. And SeatGeek, it's a code Flyers Fan Mania in all capital letters for $20 off your first order. Thank you guys for watching. And remember, I'll put a link to the podcast articles, all that stuff that's on the channel. And also, I'll put a link to the merchandise if you want to check that out in the description below. Thank you guys for watching, and I will talk to you all again soon.